Lib councilwoman who called cops murderers finds herself in need of help, gets wrecked instead. Two heroic Seattle police officers are tired of the nonsense from City Councilwoman Kshama Sawant and her repetitive insistency that cops are murderers. Specifically speaking, Officer Michael Spaulding and Detective Scott Miller, most popularly known for ending the life of Che Taylor, a gun-toting violent criminal who spent 23 years behind bars for rape and home invasion charges. The cops should have been praised as heroes, not murderers, and now they're filing a defamation lawsuit against the city councilwoman. Seems like they've had enough of the defamation and want to put their money where their mouth and career is. Not only is she facing a lawsuit, but she's also getting wrecked in other ways. Officer Michael Spaulding and Detective Scott Miller of the Seattle Police Department are personally filing a defamation lawsuit against Seattle City Councilwoman Kshama Sawant after she has repeatedly called them murderers both during their hearings and after for the shooting of Che Taylor. In 2016, two Seattle police officers came across Che Taylor, who had just been released from a 23-year sentence for home invasion and rape, on a high-risk warrant for the suspected murder of a victim using a hammer. Officer Michael Spaulding and Detective Scott Miller spotted Taylor with a handgun clearly visible on his hip, which was a crime in itself due to Taylor's history. They backed off, called for backup, and observed as Taylor roamed around a North Seattle neighborhood in a Ford Taurus. When backup arrived, the team moved in to arrest Taylor. Taylor appeared to be compliant until he got down on his knees. According to the report, the two police officers said they felt they had no choice but to shoot Taylor. They claimed they feared for their lives when Taylor got down on his knees and reached for what they believed was a gun. When Taylor went to his knees, he was no longer in sight of the police dash camera since he was behind his vehicle. Even though the cops did the right thing by calling for backup and then reacting when they feared for safety, Councilwoman Sawant still harbors hate towards the two officers. She accuses them of racial profiling, even though race really has nothing to do with this. When a criminal released from serving rape and home invasion charges has a gun, and he's legally not allowed to have a gun, then one must fear for their safety. Instead of getting away from the crime life, the guy already had a gun? How does one who just got out of prison find a gun before they find a job? What was the intent and purpose of Che Taylor illegally possessing a gun right after his prison sentence? He just gets out of jail and he already does something illegal? How can police assume anything less than to be fearful of a man whose first thought is getting a gun instead of getting their life back in order? How do cops know if this man was on his way to get revenge on someone? I'm sure the situation was horrible for everyone involved. But the councilwoman is horribly irresponsible for her actions and words towards the officers. Sawant accused the two officers of racial profiling during and after their hearings. In response to Sawant's persistent, public name-calling, the two officers requested a retraction from Sawant, which allegedly never received a response. Besides getting slapped with a defamation lawsuit, she's also getting hammered with criticism from the police chief. In a separate incident involving the death of Charlena Lyles in June, Seattle Police Chief Kathleen O'Toole wrote Sawant in an email reply, "I write in short response to your earlier email, which reflects a disappointing level of ignorance of SPD policies and clear disdain for the investigatory process and review that SPD is court-mandated to follow." When the police chief emails you such short words, then you know she was probably told not to say much, if anything. That's something lawyers usually tell clients or anyone involved in a lawsuit. "Don't say anything" is usually the go-to phrase. But in this case, it was okay for the police chief to email Sawant to inform her of the pending trouble she's about to face for disrespecting police and detectives in a job that most people cannot do. City Councilwoman Sawant would have likely been shot if she encountered Che Taylor called a lawsuit is next. City Councilwoman Sawant has other sick ties that help us understand her distaste for those in law enforcement. She's been tapped to help with the political party called the National People's Party that will have Bernie Sanders as a leader. They're claiming to be the third political party, which seems like more proof that socialist Bernie Sanders is still bad at math. I suppose he wants 3 political parties because he has 3 homes. Sawant has been unavailable for comment because she has been in Washington, D.C., helping form a third political party called the National People's Party, which will be led by Senator Bernie Sanders, IVT. City Councilwoman Sawant is well known in Seattle for other reasons unrelated to the two officers who plan to sue her. She didn't seem to be thrilled with the victory of President Trump over Hillary Clinton. She has suggested that people need more disruptive activity. In particular, she's mentioned shutting down highways and airports, perhaps by protest, and that's nothing less than irresponsible and damaging to society. She appears to be in favor of resistance, but I think she's simply resisting to do her job correctly. I'm not sure this is the reason we have city councilmen or women. Shouldn't they support our police force and stand up for our president? How can we make progress with America if there's people who refuse to work together? At the point of resistance, who is really to blame if there's lack of progress? It's not the president, that's for sure. Thank you for watching this video. What do you think about this? Share this on Facebook and Twitter along with your comments.